your vessel will touch different people than my vessel,
Absolutely.
So how would you like for me to address you? Is it Jay or Jason? Which one is best?
Jason, Jay, whatever feels comfortable to you.
All right.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Well, you got a long, healthy bio. Yeah, I usually don't get that much detail, but man.
Yeah. Well, I'm a consultant at heart, right? So I
Mhm.
try to give as much information as possible for people to be able to understand the situation, so that we don't have to spend as much time on that, and we can get into, you know,
Action.
the action. Yeah, absolutely. So, but we
I,
can get. I
s-
mean, since we're sharing, we can get into some of that, and help everybody understand where I came from, and how I'm at this point.
I would like that. Yep. So you've already paid for the time, round up homies. So we're gonna see Jason. Where are you, by the way? Are you in VA?
No, I left VA. I bought a house in Fort Washington. Uh,
Maryland. Okay.
yeah, I'm in Fort Washington.
I love how your questionnaire says, I am responsible for the failure. I want to add to that success or failure. So
Yeah,
I love how where did you get that take responsibility perspective from? Because not everybody has it.
yeah, that's definitely. I think that's a military thing.
Hmm.
Military, we spend a lot of time on leadership, and growing our leadership. Our selfless service. Because we have tough missions. Sometimes we've got a team of people that we're taking to do something very. It could be deadly at the end of the day. So you have to take responsibility sometimes for. If you make a mistake, somebody's life could be on the line. So we learn how to take responsibility for stuff like that. So when I say,
Wow.
I took responsibility for our failures in the wholesaling,
Hmm.
it's because I'm leading the charge, right? And so if we're not winning, I fail. But failure, I look at as a great thing, because it's a learning opportunity all the time.
Wow, man. That's deep, bro.
Yeah,
In business, I've never been in the military, but I'm like business. I just think it's neck and neck. Obviously, the military is on, times 1,000, but
yeah,
business, it's up there regarding your mindset, man. You got it.
yeah. I think so. I think so. That's one of the. I mean, I think I can do anything at this point, because there's nothing out there harder than what I've already gone through. So I think,
Yeah.
I just have to carry that mindset, but I also have to remember that people's lives aren't on the line anymore. So that's one of the things I've been working to try to get through. So it carries with you. So it's a gift and a curse, right? So once I'm able to let that go and I continue to move forward, I think I'll be all right.
Well, when you say people's lives aren't on the line, like in that instance,
In that instance,
because I would argue that your life is on the line, not necessarily a threat that you're going up against, but I would argue, or one could argue that our lives are on the line regarding being able to feed our families. You have other income.
that is true. That's true.
What would you? What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, I think that you bring up a good point. I'm thinking in the moment, right?
I
Uh,
got you.
yeah,
I,
but
I'm not. I'm not. This is just a conversation. I'm not putting. I'm not saying that what you're doing was not. I know it's real what you do, what you did, and are doing.
yeah, long term, yeah, you're right. I mean, people, I want to be able to get to a point where I can help other people feed their families, right?
Hmm.
So, we have to be able to set up systems that are, sustaining and long term, because people will be dependent on us, right? And I'll still have that mindset where I'm responsible for, the other people that are working with us and working for us, to be able to accomplish these goals together.
That's real, man. That's real, yo. So you've been doing this. I mean, you consulting your income, your cash flow needs. Like you're okay. You're not like check the check. Thank God. I mean,
Yeah,
you good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm doing okay.
So you want to take this to the another level
Yeah,
regarding your wealth build. Where are you at? Because your questionnaire didn't necessarily say.
yeah. When you say,
Go ahead.
what's your question?
Like wealth building, income, two different things. Are we good on that?
Yeah, we're good on that. Yeah, income. So that's why I started the wholesaling. I wanted to move away from what I was doing in consulting, because I'm constantly at stress, constantly trying to deliver every week. We come up with new time frames to deliver, and I have to deliver, right?
Hmm.
And so it over time it just becomes stressful. So, but in my mindset, I'm looking to move towards real estate, and I was like, hey, what if I can replace my income for what I'm doing with my consulting with wholesale.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that was an income-based decision, right? But that doesn't stop my entire real estate goal of wealth building, right?
All right.
What I realized once, the wholesaling didn't work out for us the way that we had anticipated, since I have so many years doing consulting and what I'm doing, I can increase that income and move that money and invest it into the real estate and build wealth that way.
Mm. Gotcha. Got a former Marine here, Max. Thanks for your service too. I'm telling
Hey,
you, Jason, man, you
hey,
don't know
Matt,
who you. Yo,
salute to you, Matt.
that's cool, man. Mike, thank you, thank you. So now that you've been following my content, I'm not this crazy wholesaler guy where just wholesaler do. I'm like kind of.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
how old are you, by the way? I saw you thinking.
I just turned 41 in January.
That's right, for happy birthday, bro.
Thank you,
Happy
thank you.
birthday.
I'm a young old guy.
You got a big heart. From I'm looking at all this. You got good lord. You got a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And that's probably why I was drawn to you. My lady and I, we watch your content, over the last couple of years. And so we, been able to go back because YouTube, kind of archives a lot of that stuff. And, just like where you come from and how helpful you are to people in need. I think it's a beautiful thing. So it's your spirit, I think that draws people into you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Well, I just look at people, even like you. I'm like, I am you. I am you. You got kids? Did you have kids here? I didn't see here.
No children.
Well, if you do have kids, you got to marry. My kids are gonna have to marry somebody. They need friends. So I'm like, I have to make sure I my kids ain't the only one that's straight when they're going into a room. So I
Yeah.
have to make sure my community's straight.
I love it. Yeah, I love your mindset, and that's what I'm drawn to. It's not just about wholesaling. Wholesaling was just a portion of where we wanted to get started, right? Holistically,
Hmm.
we want to be able to knock down, wholesales, flicks and flips, buy and holds, and all the way up to development projects. So I mean, the sky is the limit. So it's really just where do we pick up from now, right? Where do we go
Hmm.
now? What works best for my strengths, my lady's strengths, and then what kind of partnerships are we looking for?
Gotcha. Gotcha. Agua says, thank you, happy birthday, and thank you for your service, my friend.
Thank you, Argo.
I'm telling you, man. What branch of the military were you from, Jay?
Army, yeah, Army, yeah. I say that with my chest, but the Army, it's a beautiful thing because it's one of the biggest military branches, but it's not. They don't get all the money that the Air Force gets, right? So they don't have the beautiful facilities and
Yeah, y'all don't get no love like.
like I literally lived in a tent in Afghanistan for a year. It was a real tent.
What?
Yeah, and my bathroom every day was porta potty.
Get
So
out of here.
yeah. So you learn how to live with less, and you're comfortable, living with very little, and just being comfortable around, with the people to your left and your right, because you need them to survive.
I love it, man. I just felt like if you could take, I wanted to ask you when I went to college, I felt like I was going on vacation. I'm feeling like when you get out of there, you're almost on vacation.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everything is beautiful. You're blessed. Like you're happy to wake up in a nice bed, right? Oh, these are covers. This is
Mm.
beautiful.
Wow, that's crazy. Little things, brother. Little things.
Yeah.
I'm just going over your questionnaire as we go. You did that. You got that. You
Cool.
tried this. So your credit's good. You got capital. So tell me about your time regarding to put into the business because a lot of people think, and I'm not saying it's you, that they're getting into business to get more time when it's actually the opposite.
Yeah. So timing it's changed over the last couple of years. COVID has been a gift and a curse for a lot of
Hmm.
people, right?
Hmm.
For me personally, I've been able to reclaim some of my time because I've started working remote.
Oh, yeah.
Before I was living in Virginia and I'm traveling back and forth to DC, and that's like 2 to 3 hours out of my day, right? Where I
Okay.
can do anything. But that time that I reclaimed back from traveling, I got an opportunity to learn real estate and wholesaling and fixing and flipping. And, I spent all of that time that I would be driving to kind of learn the business and kind of figure out where I fit in the most.
Hmm.
But now, now that I focus on growing my day to day and consulting and cybersecurity, my time is limited. So it's more limited. So I don't know if wholesaling is the route that I can go because it's a time based business, right? You got to spend some you got to spend time on the phone. You gotta talk to people. You got to have real conversation with people. You got to figure out problems. It takes a lot of time and effort. And actually, for people like me, I hope you're all right. You all right?
Just sneezing, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Chocolate. Oh, people like you? What do you mean people like you?
I mean, I enjoy helping people and solving problems. So that's
Mhm.
that's fun. But I got to figure out a way to be able to do that more often. Since I feel like that's my strength, I need to stay in my
In that
strength.
box. You're
Yeah,
right. A lot of us trying to develop. Well, we do need to develop new skills, but sometimes it's best to get better at the skill that you have.
absolutely. Yeah,
So your partner, I'm going to say your friend is it Esperanza? What's the name?
yeah. Esperanza, yeah, it's my partner. Yeah,
She's doing it with you too.
yeah, she's supporting me. Absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
You've already so you know everybody. Norton, Max, Jefferson. You know all these guys.
So that YouTube community is it's on fire. First of all, it's not only is it entertaining, you learn a lot of information from these guys. The only thing I would caution people is that you get bits and pieces right from here and there, and there's a bunch of different strategies.
Uh-huh.
And so I guess with that being said, you have to kind of focus on a specific strategy, right? Because you can learn a little bit here, a little bit here, but sometimes those two don't mesh together, right? So my personal thing was, and that's why I went with Chris Jefferson's what's it called?
Charged up.
Charged Up. Yeah, I love those guys over there because they're on fire. I love Chris's mindset.
That's a monster, dude. And
That's
he, he's like, I met him when he was 28.
yeah.
He's like,
I saw some of those old videos where you and him, talking and going through some of that. I mean, he's a monster.
he was 28 when I was doing. I remember. I'm like, yo, I met this dude. I'm like, I just got in my car and drove up there to meet him. I mean, I'm
Wow.
like, yo, I got to know who you are.
Yeah, yeah. He's that type of guy, and he knows wholesaling front and back, like
Yeah,
tricks, tips, everything. It's like if you don't know it, if he doesn't know it, then it probably hasn't been done before.
yeah. But that once again, man, I like wholesaling at the end of the day, but it's no, you don't necessarily build wealth, which you're 40 something years old. You got to at least be cognizant and have some type of trajectory for wealth building.
Sure.
You can work your whole life, man, and have nothing to show for it, dog.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
That's
what
why
I don't want from my community, man.
yeah. We got to hold on to these assets.
That's right. So are you in Maryland? I mean, no doubt where you at is ludicrous on the prices.
Yeah. Yeah. It's out of control. So yeah, we're looking for a good market to really kind of settle in on.
Mhm.
We were out there in Richmond for a while. We did some work out there, and highly competitive. It was a great market, great price points.
What
Uh,
year was that?
this was start of COVID. I would say 2020, right when it happened.
Beginning of 20. Yeah.
So we looked at Baltimore. We looked
Okay.
we looked at Philly because my partner, she's from Philly.
Okay.
We
Both
looked,
good markets.
yeah, great markets.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
but we also we looked at the trajectory and see where things were going. Richmond just made the most sense for us at that point. We were in Dumfries, Virginia too, so we could go out there.
Dumfries is
If
nice.
we had some people that we wanted to meet with, or we
Mhm.
wanted to see a house, we could actually just drive out there. So that made the most sense at the time. But now we're open. We're open to any of those local markets or anything, Midwest or wherever it makes sense.
Now, I'm not a virtual guy. I mean, I do a little bit of it just because I have key players. Chris hires boots on the ground and realtors go out and take pictures and all that stuff. That's not my thing. I mean, I do a little bit of it. Is that where you're headed to? So I can just get a mindset of where you want to go.
Yeah, where I want to buy and hold. That's my ultimate goal.
All
Buy
right.
and hold, right? So if get a good deal, fix it, buy and then hold it, right? So that's where my ultimate goal is, right?
Mhm.
The reason why I got into wholesaling is I wanted to understand it from the ground up, put the work in, and understand the entire process from A to B. But what would you say if I could ask you what is your strength? Like where do you focus most of your efforts in?
I love when people ask me that. Not very many people. That's why, you know what? You got to know the right question, dude, to get the. I pride myself on being a money raiser.
That's fantastic.
Like all that deals, wholesaling, because you could do all that shit. Excuse me. Darn, I get it. All that falls into place when you could just bring the money.
Mm,
Just bring the money. I mean, we have guys. I don't even look at the house anymore. I don't even estimate repairs. And I'm not saying this that you're there. I want you to know that a few years ago, I was like, I need to make sure that they estimate repairs, look at the house, take pictures, do videos, make sure the contractor. I was doing all that stuff.
mm-hmm.
And then I started hanging around Ron LeGrand. You familiar with him?
No, I'm not.
So I'll give you a link to some of his stuff.
Okay.
He wrote a book called The Less I Do, The More I Make. He kept telling me that, the less I do. I'm like, what does the guy talk about? He says, Chris, I don't go to my renovations because when I go, I mess it up. So for
Mm,
me, when I used to show up, everybody, oh, money, it's not that I'm big and bad. I'm just a guy writing the check, right? So, the money guy always has a little bit of more clout walking around. So I'm like, everybody's on pins and needles. I'm like, why y'all? I'm just here. And I'm looking, I want this right. I want that right. I want that. I want to make sure wall. I don't know about that color. Maybe if we tried that. So Ron told me to stay out of that and let the team decide all that stuff. And I can be out raising money. So my superpower is to be able to raise money. We can finance any deal at any time,
I love it.
24 hours. So I got tons of private money where I can just pay. I'm looking here at your thing here. Your credibility has got to be through the roof
Yeah.
regarding integrity, yo. Right? I mean, I can only imagine you could call up guys. You got dudes that would die for you. I mean, money is way down the line. Don't you got dudes that?
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So for you, I'm just thinking if I were you, like, yo, I got something going on. I need 50,000
Right.
or 100,000. I can only imagine that if you aren't making those phone calls, you can possibly head in the direction to make those phone calls, right?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, man. I mean, yo, money is just paper, but the relationships and the people that your people know.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at here. Yeah. So you asked me, my superpower is raising money. You already talking about VA loan, which I love, but requesting private money. Tell me about your experience in private money, if any.
The only experience I have is, experienced investors asking me to contribute to their fund, their private money fund.
Got you.
That's the amount of experience I have. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so not very much, but I understand that concept, right? And I know how valuable private money is because I'm looking at hard money and I'm signing contracts. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to pay points and all this percentages of like I got to figure out how to skip that process and figure out how to get private money where I can come up with the terms, right?
So you understand the concept. Tell me just so I want to make sure we're on the same page.
So
In your mind, how would that work for you?
how would it work for me?
Yeah, I want to make sure because I don't want to skip over that. Because I want to make sure you have a very thorough understanding of it so you can actually raise some of it.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
explain it to me. How would you see how do you see yourself setting it up?
that's a good question. I would have to think through that. I haven't even gotten to that point, right? Because I think, and I've been told this by a couple
Well,
of
that's why we're here.
I've
We're
been
here to
told
talk
this
about
by a
this.
couple of people. They're like, hey, why don't you start reaching out for private money? And I'm thinking, I want to be able to get a couple deals under my belt first, right? And they're like, no, don't do that. Go get private money.
Now, who's telling you this?
These are, I have, when you're out there and you're telling people what you're doing, you start meeting people, right? You start meeting investors. I'm the type of guy, I'll talk to the janitor
You can
that's
talk.
picking up something, and I'll tell them, thank
Okay.
you for keeping it clean for us. And I think they appreciate that kind of stuff.
Empathy.
But that conversation could lead to, us talking about real estate and then their cousins doing real estate. And the next thing I know, I'm on the phone with them, right? And we're talking about, deals that they're doing, deals I'm doing. So
Yeah.
that's how it gets.
But don't forget, even the janitor could be one of your biggest lenders.
Absolutely.
They got pensions, they got 401ks, they got
Yeah,
IRAs that they probably don't want to touch, and they're probably underperforming.
absolutely. Yeah. And they're probably really good savers too. So they probably have a huge fund just sitting there, not knowing where to put that money or where it should go.
Oh man, Jay, you talking my language, bro. I'm just thinking about the hundreds of thousands of dollars in my mind as we talk that I have, and I'm not, dude, I'm so not saying this. I'm right. I'm not better or worse. I have access to.
All right.
If a deal comes up, I send an email, dude, and wire the money. You don't even. I just I could see you as that, but you have to see you as
Yeah,
that, Jay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. How did you? All right. So again, you were doing all the work, right? You were on site, messing up your
Every
contract
day.
vision, and then what? You got that advice. You started moving towards getting the private money. What did that process look like for you setting that up?
All right. So at first, obviously, I was everything. I got this little flow chart where it has these little box, find a deal, talk to the seller, negotiate deal, contract, start work. These little flow charts, and it all has you in it. You. So
1,000 views.
a thousand U's. And I'm like, you know, Chris, this is you got to grow. So the process for me was like, you know what? I had to understand the fact that I wasn't going to make as much money on each deal because a lot of investors, or I was taught, don't do partnerships.
Hmm.
Is that kind of what you're seeing too regarding the gurus?
Don't do partnerships. Now the gurus I'm talking to, they say do partnerships.
Do okay, cool. Well, times
Yeah,
are changing. You know, I'm coming up in '04. Everybody's like,
yeah.
do it all, and it was harder back then because there wasn't no internet to do this stuff.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So yes, partnership. I had to come to grips being an older. I'm not gonna make all the money on one deal,
That's fine.
right? So I'm like, all right, get over that, Chris. You're not gonna make all the money. Second, do you trust these dudes? Third, do they have the skill, right? And I learned from Ron, you can hire people and work with people that are actually better than you, Jay.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine it? So I used to think, I don't know about you, but I got testosterone, and if I want it done,
Yeah,
I got to do it myself.
yeah. That's ego.
I used to. Do you have any of that? Maybe you don't. You're like,
Now, I mean, I think we all have egos. So I have to push through it, but I understand where your mindset is. You have to.
gotta do it now. You will get burned from now. I just lost 25 grand. I don't know if you follow my content. 2 months ago, I hired a guy to do the termite work, and he screwed it up, and we had to pay 25,000 extra. So you're gonna have wins and loses.
Yeah,
But my guys, they're better than me at estimating repairs. They're better than me at eye and stuff. I'm like, man, this dude Ron manages 6,000 doors. My business partner that does the construction.
that's fantastic.
So people ask me, they say, Chris, what? This guy, how'd you train this guy? I'm like, yo, he already, he better than me. People think that I'm like on 1,000 on all my skill levels.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, this dude Ron, I'm so behind him, following him, and I'm like, look, I got all the money. If you just figure out do the construction, man, we could roll together.
absolutely.
Running mates, strategic alliances, and they're hard to find. I will say, Jay,
Sure, absolutely.
because your guys, no doubt, your crew or whoever you were with, they were screened. You know, you're not just rolling in there with Gomer Pyle.
Yeah, yeah. I'd rather roll alone than roll with a fool. So that I get you.
I like that. So the process for me was not doing it all that backed up. I'm like, Chris, where's your strength, man? Where's your strength? Construction. I've done a million rehabs. Then I saw Ron doing rehabs too. He came to me. He just was like, Chris, man, you want to put some money in this deal? I kept doing that, kept doing that. Then we just decided to say, you know what? Why don't we just do deals together? That way we can do. We won't make as much money, but we can do more deals.
Absolutely. I love it.
So I love strategic alliances. So where you at, dude? I would recommend going on Craigslist and just meeting other investors in the area
Mhm.
because I feel like you have the ability. I'm sensing this, but I don't know. You have the ability to be a good money raiser.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I do.
I do too, bro. It's
Yeah,
all about your posture and how you talk to people. Do
yeah.
you feel funny? So for me, when I was getting into raising money, I had this mentality like, oh, you want to loan me money? You want to do a deal with me? I mean, I felt like I was begging and people would look at me. I'm supposed to be this real estate guy. They would look at me like I'm poor. I mean, it was so much in my mind.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. I don't like asking people for anything, right? I'm the type of guy when we go out to eat and you pay the bill, I'll cash app you when I get home. Right? I don't like owing people. I don't like anybody having to do anything for me. And that could be part of my ego that I have to work through, right? And to get to that point.
Hmm.
Uh but
Love
yeah,
it.
yeah, I gotta get through that to get
Love
there.
it. Let me help you with that. Round up. I want to just reintroduce. I never even introduced Jay.
Oh, okay.
Jason Brown. He's in Montgomery. Where you at?
Fort Washington,
Fort Washington, Maryland. Is that close to the casino or you way up north?
10 minutes away.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I miss going and getting that. My wife loves that steakhouse in there. 300 you spending on in there, dog.
Absolutely.
300.
Easy.
$300 for dinner. Don't go to that place, y'all, if you don't want to spend $250 at least. Am I lying?
No, you're not lying.
$250 gonna be okay, but so getting out of that mindset regarding raising money.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about that.
Okay.
It's your posture, dog. When you
Mm.
talk to the somebody says thank you. Oh, look at that. CJ, US
Here,
vet.
DJ.
Thank you, Dallas. We'll get to your question too. I like to see how Jay would ask that too.
Okay.
Brave, it's your posture. You're not, Jason. You're not actually asking for anything.
Right.
We're not now in my life. I know I'm presenting you an opportunity that's rock solid.
Hmm.
I know there's plenty of equity above any money you're gonna give me because I'm gonna bring money to make sure that let's say the house is worth 200. You're only loaning me 120, 140.
Hmm.
So I'm offering you an opportunity to make money as opposed to, let's rephrase it, asking you for money.
See, that's it. All it takes is a reframe.
Facilitation, dog.
That's too easy.
Facilitation.
I love it.
So when you talk to people like, look, you're a retired military guy, running business guy, real estate guy. You look, I'm doing this. Hey, by the way, I got this opportunity. Would you boom, 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 boom? Interested?
Hmm.
And don't ask the person directly. Not say don't, but a lot of times you can say, do you know anybody that's interested?
Mm.
That way they can put the hat on themselves or pass the hat.
I
And you'd
like
be surprised. People get pissed. Be like, what you mean you don't want me?
Yeah, okay. I
You don't
like
want me?
that.
You don't want me? I'm the guy. I'm the one.
No, I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Maybe.
I like that.
Jay, you know anybody that's interested in getting a high rate of return on his real estate deals? Like, they'll hire themselves. That way it's not awkward.
Yeah,
Like, Jay, you want to work with me? So now at this stage, everybody's like, we're at different stages in our real estate journey, right?
right.
So I'm just opening up opportunities for people to invest with us. You're interested? Here, just send us an email.
Mm.
You know what? I will share my screen. I just got a text from somebody on Facebook this morning. Hey, I want to be one of your private lenders. What's your
Wow,
next project?
that's
So
fantastic.
you're gonna get to a stage in your life, dude,
Yeah.
where people are going to give you. You don't even like. I swear to goodness, I don't really go looking for it. It comes in, right? I've learned how to magnetize myself.
Hmm.
And Jason, all this is from love, yo. I'm not saying I'm on no pedestal. You gotta turn, and I'm like, you already magnetized, yo. You made it through the damn military. You already halfway there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you're right. I mean, I do have family members and friends that they're like, hey, we're stacking bread, we're ready, but
What you got?
I don't yet.
I don't know
You're
what you
right.
got.
I mean,
All right.
people are lining up.
So for you, man, the fastest way, you don't have to take my advice. We're just talking.
Yeah,
For me, I was a money guy, so I just found deal guys.
found deal guys.
Like, hey man, you interested? Because they're always looking for money. But when Ron was using other lenders, right? When he was doing his deals, my business partner,
Hmm.
he was like, Chris, man, I love working with you because I ain't gotta worry about no payments.
Hmm.
I ain't gotta worry about no points, no lenders calling me. I don't gotta worry about deadlines. So I offer Ron, he doesn't have to worry about the money ever to buy a house.
Mm.
And he never has to worry about payments, no lender calling, no inspectors checking, so he gets to go in and it's like, I don't know about you, but I'm 46, right? So my thing is I want my health is before these deals.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
All the hard money, got deadlines, extension fees,
Yeah.
late. I'm like, yo, that stuff will drive, it'll mentally weigh on you.
Stressful.
So the money, once again, is secondary to the ease of doing deals, the process. So you team up with a rehabber, which you can come bring the money, y'all can work out. I don't know what you work out on the back end, but
Mm.
so that could be an option for you. That's what it is for me. I'm just looking for savvy real estate dudes that need money.
I love it.
Just imagine dudes out there looking for deals and you show up. Hey, I put all the money up.
Yeah.
They would beat your door down. I'm not saying this is just another tool in your toolbox, Jay.
Absolutely. And that's why we're having this discussion. Because I knew you would see something or going through this. Because you've been doing this for a while, right?
I'm old, man.
You've been doing this for a while. I knew you would find something.
I'm old. What's different when you're in it? So that's why I have mentors to look at what I'm doing. They're like, Chris, tell
Yeah,
me about this. I'm like, damn, I never thought about that.
yeah. Mentorship is important. I realize that.
Yeah. So let's talk real quick. I want to get back to you, but do you want to share with Matt? Oh no, not Matt. CJ about your VA. Can you use VA to do multifamily, Jay? I
I,
don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so. But correct me if I'm wrong. I know for my specific situation is, this was my first personal home purchase, so I was able to use a VA loan for that. I think there's a financial cap. I think it could change, but it's like 450 for a personal property.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we didn't have to pay anything up front, right?
Sweet.
The only thing I did pay was a few points to get the interest rate a little bit lower.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if that was the smartest move, specifically because the house needed some work,
Mm-hmm.
and so we probably could have refinanced. But yeah,
Okay.
and then
Sorry
you
about
can
that.
have multiple home loans as well too. So if you take one out and you have a home purchase, you live in it for a year or two, and you want to move,
Mm-hmm.
you can get another VA loan for that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Look at that Navy dark. Hey, with dark beard. Thank you for your service. Navy vet here.
Okay,
Aviation brown shoe. What does that mean?
I have no idea.
I don't know what that means. Aviation brown must have a meaning to it.
Has to.
Oh, hey Todd here. You could use VA to purchase up to a 4 unit. Okay.
Awesome, Todd.
Had
That's
to know
great
that.
information. And I know where you're located. You're near the beach, right?
Yeah,
Bobby,
Norfolk Hampton area.
they got a lot of multi units out there.
More, yeah, not as many duplexes, but there's some here. Yeah, we have some. It ain't, and it's not a ton, but we have some.
Okay.
That's why people would quit. Yeah, it's just true. So okay, so I would start there, man. I mean, you obviously you can wholesale too. I mean, we do wholesaling, but I've spent a lot of money on internet marketing.
Okay. What do
You
you
want
do?
me to email you my Geek Squad team? I can do that for you too.
Okay.
For leads. Are you where
Yeah,
are you at now, brother? So I can make sure I
yeah,
can give you
yeah.
exactly.
I want to move away from wholesaling. Now I feel like I understand I wasn't able to conquer. I might go back and hit up some of my old leads to see where they're at in the process, but I don't know if I want to. It's just too time consuming for me, right? Just
Hmm.
even though we had a VA for about a year and she was
Hmm.
great, we trained her. We, looking back, I probably would have rather had somebody with more experience.
Hmm.
Um, but it's just time consuming because I got to manage that person and I got to manage the leads. I've got to pull new leads. I've got to manage our processes. And on top of that, I'm working 80 hours a week, right? So
Good Lord.
it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, I bet.
So I want to move away from something that takes away so much of my time, especially when I feel like I wasn't using a lot of mental capacity to do it,
Hmm.
right? Because I wasn't working in my strength. I want to find where I can work in my strength, and I think that's why you brought up a good point about being able to raise money, talk to people, leverage my experience, my my
Credibility.
resume. I think you're onto something.
Credibility, dog. You
Credibility.
got built-in credibility.
Yeah.
You're building credibility. I'm thinking about obviously your story, but you're gonna need. Let me guess. I need to send you my Geek Squad, and you're gonna need a prospectus. So I'll send you my private lending. I got a little. I have a module. It's a couple $100. It's gonna show you exactly how I raise money. It's a 30-page prospectus.
Okay.
Go through it. Show it to prospective lenders.
Yeah.
Prospective training.
Let me ask you this: raising money. What were some like? What would you say would be some of the most like interesting stories behind that? Maybe good or bad,
Regarding raising money,
regarding raising money. Right.
coming up through the ranks or now?
I would say that throughout that entire process, right? Did something fall in your lap one day? Like, oh wow, you didn't know where that came from, or maybe you have a story that would be interesting to the listeners.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so how I do it now is differently. Before I was more precise doing effort trying to raise it.
Mhm.
So when I first started, I just went in my throne, and I got to tell you, the first 5 people I actually called turned into one. Actually, my guy Danny was my first investor. And then he turned me on to his dad, and his dad invests with us now. So I I was specifically going to people in my cell phone.
Mhm.
They start calling, hey, I'm doing real estate. I was interested. I wanted to know if they wanted to invest in some of my deals. They said, yeah, let's give it a shot. That's how it was at the beginning. But I will say the first person might not be your biggest investor,
Yeah,
but they're going to know, or they may know who your biggest, another investor that will be bigger.
gotcha.
So I know TD Jake says the thing that you're working on now might not be the end all,
Mhm.
but it will be the thing that leads to the thing.
Absolutely.
So you got to start at least just talking to people. That the big one. So I think I remember my first one was 25,000. Then they loaned me 100,000. I'm like, man, I got my first $100,000 lender.
Great
It's
story.
crazy, man. And after that, it was just like people just started loaning money, but I have to constantly talk about it.
Hmm.
Constantly. It's a story, man. A big thing that I had to understand was I remember one lady, we converted her traditional IRA over to a self-directed Roth IRA.
Hmm.
That's going to be your best lenders because they can't use the money anyway.
Right.
They have to stay in their IRA, so they can't take it out and spend it. First time my mentor told me that people will get mad at you if you don't use their money, and that was, I remember like it was yesterday. Peralta, she says, Chris, she called me. She said, why you not use my money? These people will get mad at you. You paying them 8% or 7%, whatever you can do, and then you don't use them for 6, 7 months. They want to know why you're not using them because they ain't getting that. I promise you, they ain't getting that nowhere else.
Right.
Then you can kind of say, well, the interest rate's a little too high, kind of, because I only deal with people now that's easy to deal with. If you
Yeah.
want to give me a hard time and ask me, I'm like, yo, I don't have time for that.
Understood. Yeah. Those are nice problems to have, though. I understand.
I didn't believe it. That's why I'm sharing it freely because I want you to know it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth. And I want you to make sure you get your social media presence up too, man. Tell me about your social media presence.
Yep. It's funny you asked that because I know we were talking about doing this, in private or public, and I'm like, whoa, I'm pretty private. I
I figured that.
used to be very public, right? Everything's on Facebook.
Uh,
Back when Facebook was the biggest thing,
mhm,
and then coming out of the military, I kind of fell back, right? And
mhm.
just did me. Whoever's in my circle knows what's going on, but I'm not very public. So that's another thing I got to work through. Uh,
Okay.
get my social media. Now that I feel like I know my direction, I know where I want to go.
Mhm.
I have something I'm working towards. I don't have any problems doing that again because I know anything I do, I'm one of two people, right? I either do nothing or I do everything, right?
All in.
All in. So once I get started, it's all in, and there's no stopping.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
So that I want to stay there for a minute because a lot of people think that doing social media, like you, it's private. They don't want to put their lives out there. I get it, man. And, it could be challenging to kind of share everything, brother.
Yeah.
I don't have a magic wand to make that go away for you or anybody, but I will say there's three different mediums: video, audio, or text. You don't necessarily have to do video, Jay.
Right.
You could do a podcast,
Mhm.
bring guys like me on to give you more credibility, or you could just write,
Mm.
to write about your experiences and how you can always draw on it military and how that transfers into business. So you don't have to always be video. That's
Right.
all.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if you don't have content, just document where you are, brother. So a
Yeah.
lot of guys are actually making money on their military experience, like military riches. Like they have a course for guys getting out of the military to get into real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I love to see that. Yeah.
So, and for you, yeah, I think your credibility is like, man, I'm like, yeah, you could be when you show up. I mean, you're like a superhero, dog. I mean, you're a superhero right now on the daggone channel. Look at this.
Appreciate that, man.
Veterans, look, everybody loves you already. Fort Lee. Oh, okay. Roland. Veteran looking about multifamily. Okay, good for you, brother.
Yeah, there's a lot of veterans out there looking to you know, gain wealth. After military, I mean, we come out with so much training, right?
Mhm.
And I know sometimes while we're in, we're afraid of what's on the outside, right? Because
I bet.
we're institutionalized almost. Like we know what we know in the military, we get good at it, and then we're looking on the outside. We're like, oh my God, what am I gonna do?
Another world.
yeah, how do my skills translate to the civilian world, right?
Mhm.
But then, getting out and seeing, what we went through and the type of work that we put in and getting out and working with my peers, I'm like, oh, I'm running circles around some of these people out here. Uh,
Regarding work ethic, discipline, showing up,
Absolutely, yeah. And no, don't get me wrong, I've met some fantastic people, outside of the military. I mean,
civilians, yeah.
yeah, some of the best, the smartest, the brightest,
Yeah,
are out. But I just want to give those guys confidence that are in or getting out or out that we're superstars out here. So
yeah, you are, man. You
yeah,
are. Okay, so we got that social media. Well, I don't have any notes on that. I mean, you didn't hire me to help you do that stuff. This is just a consult. But I'm gonna send you my prospectus and my private money training.
okay,
And I'm gonna send you my Geek Squads info for leads for you.
okay,
That's the only two things that we need to send over to you, brother.
that's fine. Yeah,
And do you own where you live now or you rent?
no, I own. Yeah, we
Okay.
just bought this in February.
Okay. Oh, right now?
No, no, last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
What is the grunt experience when leaving? What is that?
The grunt experience when leaving. Yeah, I don't understand that question.
Leaving the military. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, grunt experience when leaving. Yeah, I can't answer.
Okay. So we got straight on that. What else do we need to go over, man? You got any other questions for me? I think I don't want to give you too much. I really think for me, I'm the money guy. So
Yeah,
you don't got to be that.
yeah. I mean, you're right. You're right. I'm still trying to figure out where the best place for me to land at this point. I have the ability to pull funds. I understand how to do deals. I may not know every step along the way. I know how to partner. I know who to look for to partner. I just need to figure out where I fit in the best so that I can continue to move forward in that spot. So thanks, Todd.
Gotcha.
Todd.
I didn't know that. This dude Todd knows everything. He's military, 20-year vet. I don't know, 30-year vet.
I love it.
Okay. All right, brother. What else you got for me? Anything?
No, I think that if we're done, we're done. Uh,
It's up to you, man. You pay for the time. You got a few more minutes if you got some more questions.
yeah. Well, okay. Well, let's go back, right? Because it took you how many years to get to the private money, right? Where that's your thing. What were you doing prior to that? Where you spent the most time? Because I've seen a lot of videos with you out there and showing off houses and subject to and some of the other creative financing things that you were into. What else did you do before you got here that you really liked?
Gotcha. That's good. Let me think about that. So I was wholesaling, which I hated it. I mean, it's just
Why did you hate wholesaling?
mm, because I saw older investors older than me still wholesaling. I'm like, damn, you 70. What? Why are you trying to sell me?
It's a job.
Sheesh, you try. I don't know about you, but I'm 70. I don't want to look at a house. I don't even want to, I'm like, I want to be chilling.
Yeah.
I used to go to a house and see these old dudes show up. I'm like, you still wholesaling houses, dog?
Yeah.
Man, it's just no future in it. Now, I know a lot of these guys have systems in place, businesses and all that.
Hmm.
I promise you, Jay, they're managing a huge team, man. I've seen inside these businesses, call centers, they got lead managers,
Hmm.
they got acquisition people. So they're managing the managers.
Yeah.
And you can actually hire people to do that too, but still you're kind of running this stuff. So I just like a simple life.
Right.
We do a few deals a year. And okay, I started with wholesaling. I'm like, I hate this because the real players that I met, older dudes, they had buying homes. They just collected rent every month.
Hmm.
The Lonnie Scruggs, RIP, my mentor, Lonnie Scruggs, he just had a bunch of real estate and he just financed guys like me at that time. He would put up all the money. And wholesaling, I hated it. At first, I thought I loved it.
Right.
All this cash, making $40,000 a month. I'm like, man, I'm good. I'm making money. Then year 1, 2, 3, year 6, 7. I'm like, okay, this is I'm making money, but some months you don't do any deals. Some months you do a bunch of deals. And that was one thing that it's just up and down.
Mhm.
Once again, you should do it, but I think our community, we're so amateur when it comes to not only business, just being aware of industries in general.
Right.
Like I didn't know what this stuff was when I was. My parents didn't talk about that because they were trying to pay the bills.
Right.
So our community is so unaware. So now wholesaling is becoming aware in our community.
Hmm.
We think that it's the thing, but in reality, wholesaling's at the bottom.
Right.
That's like that's like kindergarten when it
Yeah.
comes to true real estate investing. And I know Kenny Russian said, "Man, you're not even really investing in real estate because you're really just flipping paper.
Right.
You didn't raise no money, you didn't do repairs, you didn't manage any contractors, you didn't deal with any wealth management. You know, you're just in and out.
Hmm.
And flipping is next. So I just for me, I just knew I wasn't gonna be a big wholesale guy, man, because you're getting rid of the asset. Once
Yeah.
the asset's gone, you got to go do it again.
Hmm.
That was my mindset. So then I got into flipping and like long term. I gotta get Ron LeGrand told me the longer you hold on to the house, the more money you make, and it's true.
Yeah. Okay.
So, oh yeah, Todd wants to know why. He knows why I hate wholesaling. Yeah, I just
It's a Todd. It's a grind. It's a real grind. Um, even when you get a deal, you got to keep getting deals. It becomes a there's never really an end to it.
mm-mm.
You can't ever be satisfied in that specific venue unless you're like you said, Chris. You have teams where you set up systems on top of systems where they can start to manage themselves, and you can kind of pull away and put
Yeah,
people in position to lead and take charge. But that takes a considerable amount of effort. It's not impossible because I've seen it, and
yeah,
I know people that have those systems, and I sit back, I'm like,
something right.
there's something. It's like it's a beautiful chaos. That's what it is.
Well, a lot of these guys, and I go to these. I know a lot of them. I go to the meetings. They managing teams, bro.
Yeah,
They're managing teams, and it's a lot of stress. It can be a lot of stress when one of the pieces stop working right. You got to go in. You have to be a professional manager. So
absolutely.
Todd says you got some good questions. You doing?
I
You got
appreciate
some good
it.
questions.
Thank you, man. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man. But I spent the last. I'm only 2 years in, right? So yeah, I've got friends that have been in real estate for 10, 20 years.
Mhm.
So occasionally I get an opportunity to hang out with them and pick their brains. If they have a fix and flip, I'll go out there, 4, 5, 6, 7 times just to kind of see the process and
Got to
understand the
taste
process.
it, man. Got
Yeah.
to taste
So
it.
I'm definitely a lifelong learner, and
Good.
I understand mentorship is everybody should have a mentor, somebody they trust
That's right.
to work with. But yeah, I'm excited about my journey, man. I can look back on this maybe 5, 10 years, and this conversation will be out there, and I'm like, wow, you know, maybe I become the private investor guy of this the East Coast or something. Who knows? And
Never
then I
know.
can look back and say, hey, Chris was the one that got me looking in that direction. So, but this
Good
is
for
great.
you.
I really appreciate this.
Well, you got to think about it, man. Have you read the book Blue Ocean Strategies?
Not yet.
So check that out. It's just trying to focus on a part of an industry or a segment of an industry that not everybody's focusing on.
Right.
So most guys are looking for deals, right? Everybody's trying to get leads, 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 leads. So I just decided to say, you know what? Let me focus on the money part, and then I'll just team up with dudes that are already cranking out leads,
Right.
so I can be one of the finance guys.
I love it. I
So
love
that's what worked for me, brother. You have to decide what's going to work best for you.
it. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and I'll send you that stuff. You can look for deals too, but you're still working full time. So even if we gave you a lead, dude, I mean, you can't manage the construction every day anyway, can you?
I sure can. I mean, I can, occasionally I get like a 10-minute break or a meeting will cut out short. I can make a quick phone call, but
uh
that's about as far as it can go at this point.
So it might be cool to do some partnerships.
Yeah, definitely
You
do
know,
partnership.
I love doing partnerships, but it's got to be with the right people. As long as you're dealing with running mates, people that know what the hell they're doing,
Right.
makes your life easy.
Yeah.
You don't make as much, but you can do more deals.
Right.
So, okay, is that all you got, brother Jay?
That's it, Chris. I appreciate your time, man. This has been great.
Thanks for bearing with me, man. I had a kid, kid had a fever, 102. I mean, we made it though.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I hope your kids all right.
Oh, he's good. He's sleeping now. Thank God. He's good.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No worries.
All right, brother. So I will email you this stuff or I'll have my team send it to you. And I appreciate you for being a supporter, my friend.
Absolutely, Chris. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thanks for everybody out there on the line.
Yeah. Hey, y'all, I need your help. Make sure you subscribe. We're at 92,000 subscribers. I need your assistance to hit 100,000 by the time we hit June. Just hit that button, hit the like button, and share with anybody else that's getting into the real estate business. And maybe Jay can probably help. Oh, yeah. If somebody wants to do business with you, Jay, I mean, I'm sure they're watching this. How do they get in touch with you?
You can find me on Instagram. My name is Suits to Sweatpants.
What, what
Yeah.
does that mean?
Well, think about it. I've been a suit guy for the last couple of years. And as a consultant, but I'm moving into doing my own thing, and so I would prefer to be comfortable, right? So I like to wear sweatpants. So
I see you got the sweatsuit on now.
Suits to Sweatpants is my IG handle. I'll put it in the chat so that you all have it.
Yeah, put it there so I can put it in the video description, and I can people want to reach out to you. I'm sure, and you're in the Maryland. What is Fort Worth? You said
Fort Washington,
Washington area of Maryland.
right?
Man, shoot, you know you don't. I'm not saying you don't know your worth, but it's like it's just good to have other people look at what you bring to the table. Like I had this meeting yesterday with someone. We all think we're our worst. We are our worst enemies. So I look at a Chris Jefferson like, man, this dude. How come I'm not? I'm like, I can't.
What he does is special.
He's let's say he's whatever. He's doing some crazy stuff, right? But then people meet me, they're like, damn, Chris, I'm like, man, I'm not doing. I'm barely doing 15 deals a year. I don't. Oh, hold up. Let me put this in the
Okay, yeah.
Suits to Sweatpants on IG. Y'all, if you want to get up with Jason.
Yeah, reach out to me if you're Maryland, Virginia, DC, or anywhere in the nation. If you're a military vet, I love talking to our vets, even those that are in that maybe staying in or getting out, and you're interested in real estate. I love to share. Love to
Look
share.
at that. Go Armies. Another veteran. St. Louis Cash
Yeah,
Buyers. Look at that.
all right.
That's funny you mentioned that because my partner Ron, I didn't even know he was a veteran.
Oh wow,
Just told me the other day.
nice.
What were we saying? Oh, about being your worst enemy.
Yeah,
Like when I look at you, we're all like, man, I need to do better. I could do this. We don't know what we really look like to external people until people look at you like, damn, you did what? Have you met my man Daniel Barrero?
no, I haven't.
So this dude, he's one of my mentors, right? He's been doing this since 1989. I met him 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
No social media, right? When I met him, I'm like, damn, do you know who you are? He's got hundreds of doors, tens of millions of dollars capital, doing all his deals. And he didn't even have a social media presence. I'm like, dude, do you know who you are, man? Look at what you've done. And then he looked back. Now he's got 20,000 followers on IG. He's got a mentoring so it's like meeting other people to see what you're doing. Because for me, when I come home, I get beat up. I'm just dad, can't do nothing right, always doing this. I'm like, I'm a piece of crap. But then I leave home and I really am. You know what? I'm like, man, I am somebody. I'm okay. So I don't know how you receive, no disrespect to Esperanza.
Yeah.
She sees you every day.
Yeah.
You're the guy.
Yeah.
So it's we can be seen differently around people that see us every day. That's all.
That's true. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm getting ready to go see her in a minute, and
Tell her I said you are somebody. Tell her Chris said I'm really okay.
That's funny. I think she really values me. So
yeah. All right, I'm just messing with you, man.
Nah, that's all good. But you're absolutely right, though. And it's a mindset, right? You got to understand your worth, what you're capable of, and then you got to work in your strength.
There you go, brother. All right.
Hey,
okay, round up. Jason, I'm gonna get my guys to send you this over, and we done, man. If you need any other stuff, I have a VIP inner circle. If you want to join that, we meet. Matter of fact, we're meeting in Houston in 2 weeks. I can sign you up for an onboarding call. That will really get you on steroids.
Okay, yeah, I'd be interested.
With the link on that. Okay, thank you,
Chris. Thank you. Take care.
All right, much love to you, brother. Peace.